the redpill.tv, the code of change. I'm your host Renzo Buya. This is episode 4, from Unhealthy Life to Unhealthy Life, the great history of Daniel Wilson. Hello Daniel, welcome again to the redpill.tv. This is our second episode. It's a pleasure to have you again.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure, and I'm super excited about the red pill. I loved the first episode. I think it turned out great. I think everything about it, the launch of it has gone great. Good job.
Oh, thank you a lot, Daniel, and you helped me a lot with orientation, advice, really good advice to begin with the red pill. You were really passionate explaining me all this stuff, technical stuff, and I'm very thankful about this. And the last time we made an episode, I call the episode 0 because was like a pilot, but finally you leave a great message to me and to the audience, and really was great, all the words, and it's inspiring me to other stuff. No, now I want to talk and with you, and I decide to invite you. We took a course together, the business acceleration of London Real. We stay in the same team. We worked together for almost 3 months, and one time in one of these working sessions, you talk about your history related with the big change that you made in your life, and you wanted to focus your business in this maybe change. No, maybe you made the change,
Yeah.
but we you talk about the healthy lifestyle that you have now and the unhealthy life that you had in the past. And really, when I listened your story, was really motivated, and I want more people to listen. Actually, you have the podcast that is for health and well-being, and it's the beginning. You inspired me to make the podcast, but now actually you don't have a business, but you are in the same way, in this way, not to share healthy lifestyle, and healthy advice. Okay,
That's correct. Yes.
okay.
I love. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. I want you to share with us this time. I remember that you were in the university. I know that the winter in Minneapolis are very hard, and I remember this part. No, I want you to share these times.
Happy to do it. Yeah. And it's very fitting for this show because it was my first red pill back in, I would say, 2007. Was when during that year, I think it was, I was in college. I came back from holiday break. You get like a month off in Wisconsin. And during that month, it was December, January, super cold in Minneapolis, below zero. And it was my second hospital visit where I ended up in the emergency room after a night of drinking. And I was eating at a bar. I ate just, I don't know what it was. Probably just a hamburger with a big plate of French fries. and drank some beers. Later that night, I ended up in the emergency room with gastroenteritis. It's an infection in the gastrointestinal, so it was in my stomach and my intestines, and it was just nasty. I was puking all night. I woke up at like 2 a.m, sick, threw up, kept throwing up until there was nothing left, but I kept throwing up. Nothing was coming out, but I kept throwing up, trying to throw up. Lost all my energy. I was laying on the floor in the bathroom, and I was living with my parents at the time. And I told them, like, something is really not right. I have to go. I think I have to go to the hospital. And they were like, no, you're just sick. And it just got worse and worse. I said, I feel like I'm dying. Please take me in. So eventually they took me in, and sure enough, they tested it. I had gastroenteritis, they called it. I think I'm saying it right, but it's an infection of the stomach and the intestines. So it was everywhere. I just had a bad infection, and I was completely dehydrated. And the doctor actually said I could have died if I didn't come in. And they put me on an IV for fluids, for hydration. And they gave me morphine and a high dose of antibiotics, I think. But it was the worst, lowest point of my life in the hospital. This was the second time. The first time was earlier in the year during homecoming. I went to a college in Wisconsin, which is next to Minnesota, northern the United States, bordering Canada. And it gets very cold. And the thing to do in college, at least in the Midwest, in the North, is you get drunk. You drink some people drink every day, but for sure, Thursday was the big drinking night. Thursday came around because a lot of people went home for the weekend. So Thursday night was the big drinking night. Everyone was going out drinking, and we would go out. I lived in a house with 6 or 7 other guys. All of us drank heavy drinking and other things. But drinking, we'd go to the bars and we would take shots, just shots. Shots were $1. There was a thing called beat the clock, where the later it got, the more expensive the shots got. So if you show up early at the beginning, shots are $1, and then they go to $1.50, $2, $3. So you go, and you don't want to spend money, so you go and you just take as many shots. And we would just buy each other shots. Everyone was just buying shots and drinking beers. And I mean, I would take 10 to 20 shots of different alcohol, and I would just get hammered. And this is not uncommon. I'm sure they're still doing it today, but I would get absolutely hammered on a regular basis. And then I would go home back to Minneapolis. It's like an hour away, back in Minnesota. And this was right when I turned 21. So I turned 21, and I was drinking before that, but I turned 21, and you can go to the bars, you can start drinking. And it wasn't just me, it was all of us, all of my friends. We would go and we would get absolutely obliterated, just hammered, puking every time. I threw up so much from alcohol every time, 3 nights a week. There'd be weeks where I would throw up 3 nights in a row. I'd be throwing up drunk. And eventually I started getting sick. Like, eventually my body, all of this caught up, and I started getting sick, and that eventually led to being in the hospital with that gastroenteritis, antibiotics. And like the doctor told me, you could have died. If I wouldn't have come in, if I would have been stranded out in the middle of nowhere, I could have died, because I would drink water and it would just come up right away. So I was dehydrated.